Morning. Welcome to Strange Days, a show where people are invited to call in and share their experiences with both the audience and the host. Our goal is to foster a sense of connection and understanding, allowing listeners to relate to the stories and feel less alone, also promoting broader awareness and different perspectives. While the host is available to provide thoughtful feedback and support to each caller. My name is Mac. I'm your host, a disabled, neurodivergent, cisgendered gay man. While waiting for an audience to form, I've been playing through Stardew Valley exclusively on stream. If you want to call in or chat and need my full attention, I have no problem pausing the game. And if you're here for the gameplay or the vibes, that's okay too. But without further delay, let's play. It's Wednesday, which means it's the midweek. I hope everyone has had an excellent week, and good morning. It's been busy so far, and it's also been a slow morning for me. I hope that it kind of picks up for me. Had a bit of a... Oh, good morning, Snaggle. How are you? You usually come in with some hard-hitting questions or conversation. How are you doing today? Any interesting topics, or are you just starting off your day right? Okay. I'll see what I can do. On banning cryptography? I mean... Gosh, I hadn't really thought of it as a premise, primarily because cryptography is... I mean, I don't think there's a way to essentially ban cryptography. Because cryptography is just essentially language. It's just how we treat information. We want all cryptography of a certain type and a backdoor. Oh, I feel like having so are you talking about the way the government is looking to have backdoor access to cryptographic algorithms and basically federal access? Yeah, I feel like that is inappropriate. I feel like that defeats the purpose, because the instant that you create such access, it defeats the purpose of cryptography. That kind of purpose negates and creates flaws and cracks in the purpose of cryptography. The premise of cryptography is for security, and when you start creating those backdoor access, it creates security flaws. Those security flaws create cracks in the inherent security of the cryptography system. And when you do that, it creates new surface areas that creates risk. I feel like that's defeats the purpose. I also feel like that it weakens the security overall. Even for the purpose of government security. But I am not I am a tech advocate. I don't specialize specifically in security, but as a person who how would I put it? I've been following technology. Yes. So but see, that is but the problem there is what prevents the government from not abusing that power. Because we already have evidence historically of them doing just that. Which is why we do not give them backdoor access. We do not give them so they want oversight and surveillance, and they want all of these technologies, and they go, we promise not to abuse it, and then promptly abuse it. It seems like a bad idea overall to do those kinds of things, which is why the encryption technology shouldn't be providing, backdoor accesses and that kind of stuff. It's why the cryptographic algorithms shouldn't be laid to hand in corporations. It's why I'm losing faith in some of the larger manufacturers of devices. It's part of the reason why I thought the Android operating system was going to be. Oh, no, absolutely. I track some of these things. It's why I follow and I'm very careful about some of the technologies that I adopt. I'm an advocate of certain mentalities in technology. I shout from the rooftops that I should be the administrator of my tech. I think it is absurd that I am the administrator of my desktop. I have admin rights. And I can log into my bank, and it's not a problem. I am the administrator of my phone, because I insist on having that privilege. But my banking app says, oh, you can't use this app, because I have administrative rights on my phone. Why? Why is that a problem for you? There might be hackers. The same is true of my desktop. Why is that a problem? What is the difference? That shouldn't be an issue for you. Because I have administrative privileges. But people just accept it. The distinction is because they want to collect my information. That's the difference. Oh no, yeah, the cryptography. That's why I'm looking into open source cryptographic systems. I'm looking at encrypting my drives, and I'm looking at encrypting my systems using open source cryptographic architectures. Yeah, but there's a limit to that. They can't compel overseas and foreign national organizations to force them. There's a limit. But I'm copying that because I'm definitely going to look into that because that is. This is one of those things that frustrates me because I feel like a lot of legal actions and legislation are being passed regarding data and technology that might not necessarily make a whole bunch of sense, especially when but it's definitely going to be something that I have to look at offline because I don't want to like be reading. Well, no, because it happened while I was in graduate school, so I certainly hadn't had the time to read that. And I'm probably not going to have time to read it today because I have a bunch of reading that I have to do for my volunteer work. Because I have my volunteer organization meets today, and I was assigned a review project that I have to do before the meeting. So I will not have time to read it today. So I will probably get to reading it between tomorrow morning session and tomorrow evening session. You are such a busy bee. You do so much like lit searching. You always come in so hot. I love it. You come in with great topics and conversations. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I understand what they're getting at to a certain degree, but I also have concerns over the whole premise behind it, because it's essentially claiming that American data belongs to Americans regardless of where the data is warehoused. But the same could be true essentially, that the American government can just point at a country and say, we know you have data, give it to us. But unless they can specify who, what, when, where, and how, then what are they going to do? Like, it becomes a complicated mess after that point, because it becomes arguably really awkward, because, like, let's say it's spy data. Then how are they going to prove it? Because then what was the whole, like, I mean, yeah, even in that situation, like, oh, TikTok owned the American data, then what? What, like, why did we have to do this whole TikTok transfer deal? Like, what was the whole situation here? If it was already American data, like, why did we have to do this? So this whole situation, like, it's all weird. But I'm definitely gonna have to look into it and learn more about it. But the whole encryption stuff, like, yeah, I know they've been trying to force this whole backdoor stuff because they're tired of having to fight for people's information and unlocking devices that are encrypted, and they're tired of having to deal with warrants and going through the judicial process. They're tired of having to fight to get the information that they need to arrest people. And I'm sorry, that's just how the judicial process works. No, I get that, but it's a matter of the process. It's that there are things that people deserve privacy for, but there's also things that people are doing that are wrong. So it's the way we have to go about dealing with protecting the innocent in order to prove the guilty. It's what we agreed on at being a society. Otherwise, we get to go back to being... No, I get that. I get that. But in order for us to be civilized, we can't just go busting down the door saying, I get to look at everything in your house to prove that you're innocent. Because that's not how we stay civilized. So, no, I get that. I get that. But that's how we have to try to correct the direction of where we've gone. We need to start writing the course. We need to start changing the direction we've done things. We need to start kind of reorienting people and trying to change how we're doing things. We need to start trying to do things a bit more civilly, and because otherwise, like, people are validly starting to give up on smart technology and walking away from information technology because of the invasion of privacy. feel like we'll start to see, because I mean, if you look at some of the people who are pushing for a lot of this traditional lifestyleism, like part of their push is the traditional life. Well, if that's the case, then people are going to start giving up on all this technology that's maneuvering a lot of the economic development that we've seen. And if that's the case, then we're going to start to see a lot of economical downfall, because a valid clause under UK law now. When you say valid clause, oh, sorry, there was more to come. Yes. Right. But this is similar to our free speech stuff. You could interpret that as you communicated with me, that's illegal. Um, so which part of what I said would be interpreted that way? Like, what was it that I said? because I pulled up the I don't know, legislation online so that I could view it like, in its totality. And the way like it reads is it's about threatening communications, but I don't feel like anything that I've said has been threatening. And nothing I've said has been in serious harm. You mentioned something about section 182. It would be great if they offered me a cross-reference here. I could find a reference to section. No, I'm just reading. But it seems to specify like serious harm, threatening communication offense. And I don't see that anything that I've said is being about threatening. So I don't know what I would have said that would be considered that way. So I don't see how anything that I said would have been considered illegal. No, but you said I could interpret that you, as you communicated with me, that's illegal. Like you were ascribing that the law could potentially be applied here. At least that's how that read to me. That's why I was looking at it to see like, right, but I think so under section 1, I think that it's meant to be cumulative. So a person commits an offense if the person sends a message, the message conveys a threat, and at the time of sending the person, so it must have a message, the message conveys that a threat, and at the time of sending. So it has 3 parts. Right. I'm not like absolutely understood because that's how I looked at it too initially, but I'm not a lawyer or a barrister or a paralegal. It is absolutely how that could be taken, because that's how sometimes laws are written. Absolutely get that. It's one of the big issues that I have with the way laws are designed. I think that they are intentionally written to be confusing. It's also how, like, political structures are designed too. They make things written so complicated and confusing. Yeah. It's why I think that sometimes when they make laws, they do it just so that it's in the books for all eternity, just so that it's there, and now it's a pain to get rid of. I think that like sometimes we have what are called blue laws, which are just laws that are just crazy regulations and laws that are just so hard to deal with. Yeah, there are these absurdities. I think like laws should be written to the lowest common denominator. They should be the most easiest things to understand. Because if everyone has to follow them, they should be simple, easy to understand, and anyone should be able to reference them. They shouldn't be locked behind doors. They should be available to anybody who wants to review them. Especially if we're expected to follow them and abide them all the time, because nothing like not knowing that something was a law or that that law was changed. And anytime we make changes to the laws, they should be broadcast from rooftops and billboards and signs and everything. Just everybody should be made aware of them at all times. Like, putting them on the nightly news is not sufficient. It's who watches the like broadcast television anymore? I mean, seriously. I mean, that is an uncomfortable comment for me at the moment. I'll try, but I don't really have colleagues at the moment. I will float it at one of the job support groups and see if anybody is in the know. About the cryptography backdoors? So the interesting thing is the people that I tend to circulate around. So the Cloud Act I hadn't heard about, but the cryptographic backdoors I've definitely heard about. But I'll definitely bring up the Cloud Act because the cryptographic backdoors, they most certainly have heard about. They might have heard about the Cloud Act because a lot of the people I work around are in like government contracting and stuff, and some of them actually work in cryptography and stuff. But I don't actually have colleagues, as it were, right now because unemployed. But I'll mention it and see if anything pops up. But I'll see. But right now, a lot of it has been kind of put on hold because of all of the snow and stuff. But I meet again with the online group later this week, which has also diminished because, again, people are dealing with all the storms stuff. But a lot of the actual people I work around, a lot of the people I actually work with, which are in more of my professional circles, are in a different field of research. My technologic proclivities are hobbyist stuff. Those are more my personal interests than my professional. Professionally, I don't work in technology. That's just stuff that I've always been into. That's more of my, I don't know, I guess copper wire in my veins. My educational background is more research oriented. So those people, they come to me to fix their technology, but that is not what I went to school for. So they probably didn't even know about the cryptographic backdoor stuff, which is odd. It's funny. I don't know how computers and technology sort of just became part of me. Yeah, time is no longer something I can afford because things are changing, and I feel like the leisurely pace that I was taking in order to secure my digital self is yeah, I was doing a slow roll to like pull all of my digital footprint and like bring all of my digital self into one sort of space, but now that I'm unemployed and I have the time, I'm just kind of pulling it all together and doing it now. Get the names, put them on public? What do you mean? Oh. Yeah, I appreciate that because like as you bring stuff up, like I'm like opening tabs, bookmarking stuff, adding it to my like I need to do work on this and follow up on them. You give me like I hate to say it like this, but you give me like this love-hate relationship because you give such great conversation. Sometimes it comes across a bit aggressive, really informative, but you make work for me. Because figuring out streaming and social media stuff to try and help the stream like elevate is work. Also trying to find a job. But then you give me stuff that I have to read and look into, which is fine. Don't get me wrong, but like it's work. But I'm learning, which is also good because you're giving me stuff to learn. And I'm appreciative of that because it is important stuff too. that is a goal that I should probably start doing again. Although I need to start working back on getting into my journal articles. I need to start reading more research literature again. I really need to get back into going back through scientific articles. Oh, 100 papers a month is a lot. That is a lot. I need to get back into it, though. This last year was rough. I just need to get back into the swing of things. I used to devour them back in school. I just need to... I need to get back into it. Hey, Hilson, how are you this morning? It was a lot easier reading research articles when it was on topics that were interesting and I felt mattered. Like, the best part is my volunteer work is with my old academic institution, so I still have journal access to a lot of research journals. So that's beneficial. So, like, it would behoove me to take advantage of that. I just need to get off my bum and do it. I'm doing all right. It's been a very busy discussion this morning. I'm 45 minutes into stream and still haven't finished my first day in Stardew. I don't think I've gone to sleep yet, have I? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. How late was the power out? Yikes, they were very tardy in getting you back up. I'm sorry. It's okay. I think Snaggle and I were just kind of having casual conversation at this point. So I also, it's amusing. So how's the microphone doing today? Is the audio better? Okay. I still really don't know what the issue was last night. It was really weird. I messed with some of the filters, the gain. Hopefully, we're back to the way things were before the audio decided to go on some sort of kick last night. Because I really don't know what happened. It just went on some sort of craze. But there it was. All right. So want I'm doing quick. Oh, fine. All right. You know what I'm going to do? I am going to make myself a to-do list of. Nope, that is. Hey, my God, so much. I really do. It's like worst. This. And I need to. Okay. All right. Now that I can. Oh, forgetting. Saw. I have a busy day now. Because Snaggle is like the best at just rocking a conversation. Genuinely. Just comes in, just like, a bleh. And then there's just like, oh my God. Look at this conversation. What did you bring me? It's kind of great. They're kind of like that person who shows up to a party and you're just like, this party was dead till you got here. Kind of great. it was like always interesting conversation. Always. And it's always like, it's never like, how's the weather? It's always like interesting things. Really? Okay, so then I need to. Okay, is that better? We'll try this. We'll see if this is better. I adjusted the gating to see if that will fix it. So when I look over here, is it cutting out? It also doesn't help that I was kind of rambling, but the issue is it seem more resolved now. So like this is me looking at the monitor to my right, which is looking away from the microphone. Okay, and so this is me looking to the monitor on my left, looking towards the microphone, which clearly the microphone's going to pick up. So, okay, so that should hopefully rectify that problem. Yeah, I still don't know what was causing the issue with the microphone cutting out, but hopefully that kind of fails it with whatever the micro. So like the microphone still doesn't quite pick up as well as it did before, and I'm not sure why that is, but I've adjusted it a bit better, maybe. Hopefully that will fix it. But there we are. But yeah, they always come in with great conversation topics. It's always like a party. Snaggle. Like, they always come in with conversation. It's always a strong topic, and it's intense. And it's like the party's here, but it's not like blam. Crops watered by sprinklers. Okay, so that covers everything, and it won't block my path anymore. Hooray. But yeah, busy day. I have my volunteer work today, so basically, I don't have time to, because I also have one of my work group meetings today. And then as soon as I get off my work group meeting, I have to get back to doing reading because I also have an assignment for my volunteer group that I have to do because I have responsibilities. And I still have to do some job hunting this week. And Snaggle gave me stuff that I need to look into for my own personal edification. Yeah, I know, adulting. But the volunteer work is important stuff because I have to do research oversight for my old university. And the funny thing is that I got involved with the review board because while I was at university, the application process was just taking so long that I was like, what gives? And I just started going to the meetings to observe. And I was like, you guys seem like you're overburdened. Do you guys need some help? Oh, hey. They said the same thing about furries, and the response was just positive. You could always try looking into like the work from home time jobs. And then there's always like content creation type work too, and see about moving toward that kind of work. See if you can make that happen. No, it's fine. It's fine. Don't need to apologize for that. You need to talk about it. You need to talk. That's the whole point here. The mood swings as the mood needs. I can understand. And I know I I'm not sure what else to do but hear you, and that's what I'm looking. At the very least, present with you, uh, affirm you that you're not alone. Try to work with you about finding alternative solutions. I know that it's not, but I feel like I like medical profession aren't usually in it nor people suffering. And so like it seems odd that so many of them seem to just so that they just keep it off. Sorry. It feels so strange that they keep putting you off. And doctors don't usually go into the profession to like ignore people suffering. And it's so strange that they do. No, that's what I'm saying. Like that you've had so many instances where they have basically ignored you and brushed you off is so odd. Because I would have imagined at least somewhere along the line, someone who didn't get into this from, bad reasoning would have listened. Yeah, I came across an article just now that it's recent article that it's 8 to 9 years for a diagnosis. And I feel like that's absurd. Just, I hate it that, like, I know what chronic pain feels like. I just wish there was something I could more than, like, just be here. And I know what it's like to feel uncertain about the ability to go to work and what that looks like. But as I was saying, like, you can look into options for working from home, computational work, writing, copy editing, content creation. I mean, it's not necessarily the best kind of work, but there are types of options where you can get potentially a slow stream of income. I mean, if you were getting paid to sit at home, then that's certainly not being lazy, but it's not a... First of all, I don't think sitting at home is about being lazy anymore, because lots of people sit at home and make money. So I don't think that's really a fair judgment in this day and age. But a lot of people have chronic conditions that cause them issues. So I don't think that's an appropriate judgment. Well, who cares what other people say? Like, whatever. But work towards other avenues for income. See what you can do with that. Like, see about content creation, see about looking for remote positions, see about other things you can do. Of course, I'll talk to you later. Do what you can. Try to keep positive spirits. And I'll see what I can dig up otherwise and when I have time. We'll talk about that later too. Take care. Space. Do you have space for a barn? We'll do a barn. Barn just for ostrich. Stay, which means she should have a problem getting that barn started. But I do, because I have to have them on me. That's how it works when you go to buy stuff. You have to have the equipment on you. No. Because when you go to a contractor and you're like, I would like to build a thing, they're like, cool, do you have all the lumber on your person and all the stone on your person? Yes, I do. Okay. Busy. How many days it takes to incubate ostrich egg? But I think I'll store the eggs. It's an excellent mayonnaise. This can go else. Okay. So let's go pop over to Ginger Island and see what I got there. Batteries, because that's how solar panels work. They just magically make batteries. Honey, which so, but I feel like I should be getting soup. I wish that, like, in Minecraft, had a resource pack that indicated the honey level, that I knew how close they would be generating honey. That would be useful. Right. Some copper. Right. I need it for making furnaces to make advanced furnace. So, oh, I should have gone to smelt that before. Excellent. Time, more time. Copper ingots, not that I need those, really. I also probably should have grabbed some spicy eel. Fuck. Whatever. Sure. I'll be fine. I'm only here for the copper. I don't need to get like, super fine. So it's right. Swings. Did. Single swing. See, iron was a single swing. Sure. That's fine. Fine. I don't need ore. It's not absolutely the reason I'm here. Certainly not. I don't know. I like the slimes with the little sunglass shades. I mean, I probably knew it at some point, but I like the loot that I get here better, but I don't like the fact that they don't drop, like, luck generating food. You know, bombs and stuff. Those are way better as far, but I like the fact that they drop rarer loot. I mean, I guess the stone crabs drop. Stop freezing him! There's some there. Some more copper there. Still a lot, sadly. The ladder boost enchantment. Blessing or whatever. And here. Craft. Darn. Right. And it's only the third day of winter. That's not super. have tons of winter left. Running out of supplies. She's ready. No. That cheap. Right. 1.5 million left to go before I can get the clock. We'll wrap up the last bit of achievements that I'm going to be doing because some of the achievements are not, as far as I'm concerned, doable by me because I'm terrible at like not runner, but minute run. I forget what they're called. Continuous running games. Run. I don't remember what they're called. Temple Run. And then there's the twin stick shooter. I'm also not very good at. So, yeah. 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 Nope. I wanted to. Yeah. I feel like the barns, the coop should have the door separated a little bit so that you don't accidentally open or close it when trying to go with the door. Sort of seems like a thing. Okay. Off to Ginger Island to go see if any of the star fruit has fruited. Of course not. I mean, we have the one in the corner, but I'm letting that wait until the rest of the fruit catches. Maybe we have some honey. And we have honey! At least some honey. It's fine. I don't mind it coming. Eat. That's not going to be enough. So that's a big whopping pile of disappointment. Flies. That's not a lot. Of course, oak resin. Oaks. I was thinking on brain. Brain on. But I was stuff. Resin. Of course, it's oak resin. Everything's. So let's get some. Get. Probably have some. That would be nice. See, have any? So See if I can make it some sort of fertile. Huzzah. Reddish looking. Is a tile? That's just how they look. I think that's how it looks. Okay. So let's and I guess. Uh, oh, clearly some. Uh, yep. Out of artisanal crafty bits. So let's get Desolate Winter. That's my bad. Farm computer down. Crafting bench was supposed to. Okay. 2. Fine. Gap to get if I need to. Blocking the way. Ow. Right. That is going to wrap up this morning's session. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I will see you this evening. You all take care of yourself. See you then.